One of the gifts that I've been given in my life is I understand a lot of people that have gone through a lot of things because I've gone through a lot of things. And I say that God has sent me several angels in my life at just the right time. When I was your age, a little younger, I was 17 years old. We were in a flood in California. And to make a long story short, in daylight, we were on the roof of our house, and there was water everywhere about us, and there was no hope. There were people on the highway far away looking at us, and they were frustrated because they couldn't help us. Because on either side of us, there was about 200 or 300 yards of water going 35, 40 miles an hour and about 30 feet deep. And so nobody could do anything. And it was blowing and blowing, rain, and it was just nasty and miserable. And we all sat there knowing that it was just a matter of time before we were all going to be tossed into the water and we were all going to die. There was no way out of it. I swear, I looked at this from every way I could look at it, and there was no way out. And just when it seemed impossible, and finally the house starts rocking, it's like this carnival ride. It just, your stomach gets up in your throat, and you start rocking, and you know you're saying goodbye to people that you love, and we all get tossed into the water. The roof starts going downstream, and I hear a scream, and I see my sister's been pinned by this tree against something, and my mom's trying to help her, and my mom goes to her, and she loses her grip, and the next thing I see is my mom screaming going down the river, and that's the last I saw her. And then I couldn't find one of my friends who was staying with us that night. He was gone. And suddenly we found ourselves standing, there was like a sandbar that had emerged because of the current. You couldn't see it, but it was about, we were only ankle deep water. And we were on this sandbar, and we still couldn't find our friend. I looked up the stream, and I saw a patch of hair, and he was underwater hanging onto something, and finally he passed out. When we came by, we grabbed his hair, and we pulled him over to this thing. And so for a little while, for an hour, we were saved. And then the water starts chewing away at the sandbar, and it starts eroding it, and it starts getting deeper, and the water's going from our ankles to our knees, starting to go close to our waist, and we're all having the same feeling that we're going in again. And we just keep praying that something will happen. And out of that yucky, gray rain, we heard the thumping. And here came a helicopter, an Army helicopter. And he came up the river, and he tried to get in position to help us, and it just was blowing so hard, he just kept swaying and trying. And so somebody was risking their life to try to save ours. And eventually, one by one, after dropping this harness, he was able to pull everybody off. We've got everybody on that chopper except me. And then he flew away. And the water kept getting deeper. And finally, the water was about to my shoulders, and I could no longer hold my balance, and he hadn't come back. I remember vividly saying, at least they were saved. At least my brothers and sisters were saved. Because I'm not going to make it. And then he came back. I heard him over the thing, and he kept trying to get me, and I couldn't hang on any longer. And I finally had, there was no footing, and I was just starting to go on the river, and he kept swinging that harness, and I got one arm under it, and he flew off over the mountain, with me dangling about 75 feet below my table. That's how I got started in journalism. Because the next day, a reporter from the paper asked if they could meet with myself and my father, and we did, and we talked to her. And she was so compassionate, so loving, that right then I said,